You are not your mind. That's what spiritual practitioners will often tell you. Why is it so easy then to get caught up in all the stories that your mind throws at you? When your mind brings up doubts, criticisms, problems, when your mind tells you that you're not good enough, you don't deserve it, or what's the use? Why even bother? In this video, I take you through a simple guided meditation that gives you an easy and direct experience that you are not your mind and that those intrusive thoughts are not true. I also show you how to melt away those thoughts so that you can easily experience your true self all the time. And this guided meditation, it's taken from a recent class that's designed to show you how to easily achieve your goals just by eliminating the negative sounds that play in your head. So sit back, follow along, and experience firsthand that you are not your mind. Okay, welcome back. Let's do a cleanup. Close your eyes. And see how you feel about what you're doing here and how your releasing is going. See if you have any doubts about what you're doing, whether this releasing stuff even works. Sure, I feel a little bit lighter, but does this really get me material things, goals? And just listen to the doubts that your mind has. And pay attention to where those doubts are coming from. That they're just a sound in your head, aren't they? The only thing that's doubting you and getting you to doubt is a sound. It's all your mind is doing. It's making noise, making sounds at you. And why identify with those sounds? Why identify with those doubts? Because look at what happens when you pay attention to that mind and those doubts. Right? You start judging yourself, judging your releasing. You get frustrated when you don't get what you want. When you don't get the results fast enough. Even though all sorts of things are getting better. And you can see it all around you because of your releasing. There's no doubt in that. But that freaking goal. And I don't know, maybe I'll never get it. Maybe this doesn't work like that. And that sound in your head even gets you to give up sometimes and doubt yourself. Well, maybe I'm just a bad releaser. Maybe I'm never going to make it. Right? Lester must have had some sort of superhuman strength in order to let go all the way. Or there must have been some reason. Maybe it's that heart attack. Maybe I have to have a heart attack in order for me to take it seriously enough. Right? And then that sound in your head, that doubt, then gets you spinning around, trying to figure it all out. How does this all work? And when you're sitting there trying to figure things out, are you releasing? Or are you just engaged in your mind? Engaged with a sound that says, I don't know what to do. I'm not good enough. And that's your picture. And it's your picture. And then you feel like you're a victim of your picture. And a victim of the world. Where you're limited. You can't. You got those doubts. Now, is that being a master? Remember, a master takes responsibility. And a master is one who chooses to discriminate. Wait a minute. Who said that that voice in my head has to be right? What does it even know? All it's doing is just repeating back a bunch of garbage. It's just a recording and playback machine. And it plays that same garbage over and over and over again, day in and day out, week in and week out. Examine it. Examine what goes on in your head. It's the same stories. Oh, I can't do this. I want this goal so bad, but I can't have it. My life sucks. I got this problem. And every single day, it's the same stories. And they're just playing like a broken record. Now, is your mind anything more than a recording and playback machine? Examine it. What does it do other than records things, usually a bunch of negative things, and then plays them back to you? And it's always there to be critical, to discourage you. But it does it for your own good, right? It doesn't want you to be stupid. It doesn't want you to make mistakes or get things wrong. So it's going to throw all these obstacles, these doubts, just to make you sure you get everything right. But you never get anything right because you're always holding the wrong thing in mind. Doubts, I can't, I'm a victim, I got no power, oh, woe is me, poor me, and all that ag flap. And guess what? That ego loves the ag flap, the apathy, grief, fear, lust, anger, pride. Because you're getting pulled by strings. Strings called desires, pulling you this way and that way, all over the place. Got to have this, got to stay away from that. Gotta. Always looking for happiness, satisfaction, and never finding it. The ego loves for you to be dancing on these strings that it pulls. But aren't you the master? After all, who does that ego belong to? That sound in your head. Even though sometimes it can be very bossy and very critical and seem very, very real. Who's it talking to? It's your voice, isn't it? And is it possible for that voice in your head to go talk to somebody else? Have a conversation with some other entity? No. It's only talking to you. Only you. And what does that mean? Maybe it belongs to you. Maybe you're the owner, the master. So why not act like it? Why not get courageous? Get above the act flap. Get above all the miserable feelings, apathy, grief, fear, lust, anger, pride, and get into courageousness, acceptance, and peace. There's no ego going on up there. So of course the ego doesn't want you to go there, doesn't want you to leave it behind. It's afraid it's going to die if you don't pay attention to it. Of course it is going to die. It needs to die. It's not even real to begin with. But which would you rather have? After all, you're the master. Would you rather have the ag flap or the cap? Courageousness, acceptance, and peace. Where's your power at? In one of those areas, you're negative and reactive. In the other area, you're discriminating and present and positive. Which do you prefer? After all, whose choice is it? So could you choose the peace? Choose the quiet over the noise. There's so much more going on in quiet than there is in the noise, even though it doesn't seem like it, not to the mind. There's an awful lot going on in quiet. Why not listen to quiet now? Just get quiet. You can do it. You're the boss. If your mind is making noise, you're the owner of it. Just discriminate about it. Just watch your mind. And whatever it's saying, even though it might sound serious, even though it might sound like it knows what it's talking about, just let go of placing any value on what it's saying to you. Just watch it. Just watch what it says. Without engaging it, without resisting it, without going along with it, and without disapproving of it. Just watch. 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 No matter what it says. Even if it insists, I know what I'm talking about. You better listen to me, or else you're going to die. And that's what it loves to do. It loves to scare you. So you pay attention to it. But just watch. 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 And you see, that thing that seems to know what it's talking about is nothing more than a recording and playback machine. It just goes around recording everything, and then it plays it back to you, whether you want to listen to it or not. But there's no intelligence in that, artificial or otherwise. It's just a broken record. And notice yourself now, who's watching that mind. Yourself, who that voice is talking to. After all, your mind is talking to you. Who's it talking to? And just watch that. And get quiet. You're the boss. And give your mind some love and approval. And that doesn't mean that you have to engage with it, tell it nice things. Oh, you're such a lovely mind. You're doing such a good job. That's nonsense. That's just a bunch of rationalization. Now, giving it approval is simply loving it, no matter what it says. Whatever it's saying to you, just come from a position, I love you. No reason, I just love you. I love you unconditionally. Even if you stay there forever, harassing me, never shutting up, I love you. And I could be happy here with you. I love you. I love you. I love you, mind. I really love you. I love you if you stay, and I love you if you leave. And just go quiet forever. I love you either way. And notice what happens when you stop placing value on that mind of yours. And just love it. Loving it just because. It gets quiet. It gets nice, calm, and peaceful. It turns into a little pussycat. And now surrender to that quiet. The quiet that's opening up inside of you. Notice you have a choice. You could either pay attention to the noise, engage with it, or you could pay attention to the quiet. And see what quiet brings you. Now remember, you could talk to quiet. It's not dead space. It's very alive. And it's very spontaneous. You could talk to quiet. You could even ask it questions and get very spontaneous answers. Ask quiet if there's any such thing as the past. Just take what you get, coming from quiet. And ask quiet if there's any such thing as the future. Just take what you get. And ask quiet if there's any such thing as good or bad. See if there's any such thing as right or wrong, according to quiet. And ask quiet if you should have any doubt that you can create anything, even the biggest thing you can imagine. Ask quiet if that's possible, if you could do it. What does quiet say? Now, don't listen to your mind. Just take what you get from quiet. And ask quiet if you're free already. If you're already a free one right now, what does quiet say? Notice, if you were to ask your mind that question, what would it tell you? So which would you rather pay attention to, that mind or quiet? And see if you can be destroyed in this place of quiet. See if that's even possible. Are you? Are you? Are you? Now get a picture of your mind, whatever it looks like to you. Just a picture, your picture. And could you allow that picture, your picture, to evaporate and dissolve? And let that picture evaporate and dissolve even more. And even more. And get a picture of that ego, that mind, that story, that personality. It's all just a big made-up story. A story that you keep having to maintain. And look at how much effort it takes to maintain that story. Just get a picture of that ego, whatever that looks like to you. That identity. Persona. And could you allow that picture, just a picture in your mind, could you allow it to evaporate and dissolve? And more. And some more. Are you? Are you? Are you? Now you can stay in this place all the time. Be in this quiet place 24/7. It's nice, isn't it? Effortless. What a relief. Why not stay here all the time? All you have to do is just keep letting go. Remember, there's no stopping on the 6 steps. Could it get even better? Could you let go and find out? And could it get even better? Could that you let go and find out. And more. And keep going until you have it all.